Hello everybody, it's your boy Ali here from Us Language 1, and we'll be crushing it tonight. We'll be, actually I'm going to be joined with Darryl Harris from Las Vegas, and he's going to be actually online in a moment, so I'll be waiting for him to show up online. Just to give you a little bit of explanation on what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about some survival expressions or survival phrases that you guys probably need to know if you don't want your mind actually to spaz out or to freeze up when it comes to a real life conversation. So we'll be going through some of the very most frequent expressions or phrases in the US. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. I still do not get anything from Darryl here. We should probably give it a couple minutes until he shows up so that we can get through our Instagram live here. Let's get started with 3 different terms and phrases actually that are really important. So one of them is I'll pass, I will pass. Well, basically when you say I will pass, it basically means that you do not want to accept the offer that the other person actually is giving to you. For example, if you are at a restaurant with your friend and then your friend offers you some, I don't know, Coke or maybe, I don't know, pizza or hamburger, you could say, no buddy, thanks, I'll pass. I will pass. So I will pass, it means you would like to reject that offer, that request. You could simply use that. Hello, how are you doing?
We are back on.
How are you doing?
How's it going, man? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time since you went online. Yeah, thank you. It was actually, we've been going through some kind of technical difficulties here, so I'm really sorry for the inconvenience.
Oh, it's okay. That's okay.
Okay, you should be pretty cold over there, right?
Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas, and like winter's a couple days away, and in the last couple of days, the temperature just dropped. It's like it gets cold enough to snow here, but there's no water, so it doesn't actually snow. It's just really cold, I'm in my garage, so I'm outside.
You can literally feel the breeze and the cold breeze all over your skin and all over your body.
Yeah.
All right.
So I heard what you were talking about before.
Yes, Darryl. So we're going to be talking about survival expressions, and as it sounds, so there are some occasions and situations where some English learners actually tend to freeze up. The mind kind of spazzes out. They cannot come up with the right terminology in order to get their point across. So we're going to be going through some of those, and so I will start off by saying I'll pass. Actually, I covered a little bit about it, but what's the difference basically about I'll pass and I'm good?
It's finality of it. I'll pass is when you're in a situation and you don't necessarily want any part of it right now. You don't want to be involved in whatever this thing is, or you don't necessarily need to interact with it. A great example is a smoke circle or a drinking. Someone passes you a drink. They give you a drink. You don't want a drink. So you'll say, no, I'll pass. Let them send it on to the next person.
Yes.
As opposed to I'm good is a little bit more finite. And when you say I'm good, you're indicating that whatever situation is going on right now, you're perfectly fine with it. You don't necessarily need to put yourself into it. You can use it in that same situation. Someone might pass you a drink. You may say, no, I'm good. I'm good. So there's that one situation where you can use them both, but typically they wouldn't be used interchangeably everywhere. For example, a girl could be hitting on you, who you're not really into.
I'm smoking for, buddy. I'm smoking for.
So you might be like a very rude way to turn her down and be like, nah, I'll pass. You know, that's a fairly rude way to let her down.
Wow.
But you wouldn't necessarily tell it to her, but like, let's say your friends are trying to hook you up with some girl, and you're like, nah, I'll pass. It's a very informal, casual way to say, nah, I'm not interested. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm good could also indicate, let's say you fall down, you know, and someone comes to check on you. Oh my God, are you okay? You can say, no, I'm good. I'm good. You're just indicating that you're fine. You're okay. Whatever situation is going on, you're perfectly fine with it. That's a slight difference between the two, but you can use them in the same situation.
Yeah, okay, thanks for the thorough explanation here. So if you don't mind, actually, I'll be going through this in Farsi for those who have a little bit of hard time understanding it, if you don't mind. دوستان دو تا اصطلاح داریم. I'll pass و I'm good. وقتی که یه نفر میگه I'll pass که بیشتر داخل رستوران یا مثلا زمانی که کسی به شما نوشیدنی تعارف میکنه استفاده میشه یا وعده غذایی یا هر چیزی به شما تعارف میشه، شما میتونید بگین که I'll pass. No, I'll pass. ایشون میگن نه همون یک فرم از no هست که غیر رسمی تره. No man, no. یا نه I'll pass. یعنی مرسی، میل ندارم، تمایل ندارم، متشکرم. اینو هم من همیشه گفتم، هیچ وقت سعی نکنید یک معنای مستقیم فارسی رو ربط بدین به معنی انگلیسی، چون فارسی زبان ناقص‌تریه نسبت به انگلیسی. پس شما یک موقعیت رو در نظر بگیرین، موقعیتی که کسی به شما آفری میده در رستوران در مورد نوشیدنی یا خوراکی یا هر چیزی، شما میخواید بگید no I'll pass، یعنی مرسی ممنونم، I will pass. ایشون میگن که کاربرد دیگه زمانی که مثلا یه نفر میخواد شما رو با دختر آشنا بکنه، شما میگه no I'll pass man, I'll pass. یعنی که نه I'm not interested in it, I'm not interested، علاقه ندارم. I'm good از اون طرف زمانی استفاده میشه که در واقع شما مثلا زمین میخورید و کسی به شما میگه که مثلا need a hand، یعنی you need some help، شما میگه no I'm good man, I'm good, I am good, I'm good، که به معنی که نه نیاز ندارم. معنای کلیش یک مفهوم کلی اگه بخوایم بگیم برای I'm good یعنی که وضعیتی که من هستم خودم بهش تسلط دارم و اوکی ام، همین چیزی که هستم اوکی ام. مثلا این که hey dude aren't you going to switch to Apple، نمیخوای بریم مثلا از سامسونگ استفاده بکنیم، میگه no I'm good, I can live with مثلا I can live with Apple، یعنی همین اپل چیزی که دارم مثلا خوبه. Okay Darryl, another one is I got this. I got this. What does that mean?
I got this. Whatever the situation that just came up, you're confident that you can take care of the situation. Everyone else can relax because you're going to take care of it. You're the man, you're the person who's going to be responsible. You're taking ownership of what's going on. So go back to that same situation. Your friends are trying to hook you up with that girl. You can be, I got this. I got this, because you're confident you're going to go over there and talk to her, and that you're going to be successful. But it's a very boisterous but fun way to convey your confidence in a situation.
Yeah, actually, that's true. دوستان اصطلاح دیگه که داشتیم I got this بود. I got this. Yeah, I've got this. وقتی که شما میگین I got this در واقع به این معنیه که اون وضعیتی که شما درش هستین روش کنترل کافی رو دارید. در فارسی میتونه معانی مختلف داشته باشه. کمک نمیخوام، مرسی، خودم بلدم، خودم دارمش، خودم از پسش برمیام. مثلا میخواین شما یک میز رو تکون بدین و سنگینه، دوستتون میگه که buddy need a hand، شما میگین که no buddy I got this. No man I got this، یعنی I'm in control و خودم تسلط دارم به این موقعیت. یا اینکه میگم که what was the name of the celebrity we came across yesterday؟ من میگم که مثلا میگم که خب let me say it، میگه نه I got this، no I got this، نه خودم میگم، خودم میتونم بگم. پس I got this تسلط شما رو به اون موقعیت نشون میده. I'm good یعنی که وضعیتی که الان هستم خوبه، نمیخوام بهتر بشه، ارتقا پیدا بکنه. و I'll pass زمانی که میخواین در واقع تعارف طرفو رد بکنید، گرچه با I'm good میتونه یک معنی در واقع مترادف هم داشته باشه که کسی به شما تعارف کنه میگه که no I'm good man, I'm good. Yeah, I just had a late lunch, I'm good. خب پس تفاوت‌های I'll pass, I'm good و I got this بود. All right. So, Darryl, what is the difference between lame, pathetic, and retarded?
Okay. Lame and pathetic we'll start with first because they're similar. They both mean that you're not down with whatever's going on. Whatever the situation is, you don't think that it's a good thing. But with lame, it's kind of a mild thing. You're not impressed with this thing. Someone tells you their idea to get rich, and it's really stupid. But not in a ridiculous, stupid way. It's just, they'll say, hey, guess what? We're going to buy every lottery ticket on the planet, and thus we'll win. And you'll be like, man, that's lame. Because it's a silly idea. But it's not so bad that you're going to insult them purposely. You're just saying, oh, that's lame. That's lame. You could emphasize it with that's lame, that's really lame, that's super lame, that's mega lame, but it's still mild. Pathetic, you feel a little bit more strongly about that. If someone tells you your idea and you're like, no, that is pathetic. you're emphasizing your displeasure even more. You're still teasing a bit. You know, this is not, if you're telling someone something's pathetic, your tone of voice will say whether it's an insult or not. You may just be letting them down mildly, but you may be trying to insult them. You're like, now that's pathetic. You know, if you emphasize it like that.
Yeah, okay. And what about retarded?
Do those two. Retarded has changed over the years. If you're watching television or movies from like the 70s or 80s, retarded means similar, pretty much the same as lame in slang terms. But from the 90s on, starting in the 90s, it started to become more of a hate term. It's a more serious insult. And if you're watching anything from like 2000 on, or if you come to America now and you call someone retarded, you could start a fight. It is considered a fairly serious insult to call someone retarded. Even if you're not calling them retarded, the simple fact that you're using retarded as a slang term can offend the people around you. So it doesn't matter if you're talking, like you can call this person retarded and the person sitting over here is going to get offended. It's considered a hate term now, a slang term, but also against people who have mental
disabilities,
issues, with disabilities.
Yeah, exactly.
It's considered a hate term. So be very careful. If anything, today, don't use it in America. Outside of America, sure. In America, don't use it unless you're trying to start a fight.
Yeah, okay. Sums it up. دوستان تفاوتی که بین lame, L-A-M-E و pathetic, P-A-T-H-T-I-C هست و در واقع retarded این هستش که اگه بخوایم یه طبقه بندی بکنیم، اولندش که معنی هر سهشون میگم چندین معنی میتونه بده. شما این موقعیت در نظر بگیرید که شما چیزی رو دارین میبینید که اصلا باش حال نمیکنین. It's totally uncool. چیزی که اصلا خوشتون نمیاد ازش. یه ایده‌ای هستش که مثلا همونطور که دریل میگه دوستتون میگه که من میخوام تمام لاتریایی که تو آمریکا هست همه رو بخرم. شما میگین که that's a lame idea. And that's a super lame idea. یعنی خیلی ایده مسخره‌ایه که درجهش میشه گفت کار بکش میاد. که درجهش میشه گفت در واقع پایین‌تره. پس lame از نظر غیر محترمانه بودن میشه گفت درجه پایین‌تری داره. بدتر از اون میشه pathetic. که زمانی که شما a stronger displeasure you express a stronger displeasure رو نشون میدین. یک تمایل خیلی حس بیشتری رو داره نسبت به lame. پس lame, pathetic و بعدش هم retarded که ایشون میگن که retarded اگر الان باید خیلی مراقب باشین که ازش استفاده بکنین چون داخل فیلم‌ها شما زیاد میشنوید میگن خارج از آمریکا اوکیه و ولی داخل آمریکا سعی بکنید از این اصطلاح استفاده نکنید که بگه retarded. پس اگه خواستم بگین چیزی زایه است حال نمی‌کنم باش به درد نخوره مزخرف چرت هر کدوم از اینها مدل های فارسی به ترتیب میتونین بگین در واقع lame میتونین بگین بالاترینش retarded و اون وسط هم میتونین بگین pathetic. Darryl, I'd like to you know, it might sound really minuscule when it comes to actually everyday conversation. It actually does not show a great, you know, strong terminology behind it. It's something pretty simple. What does backwash mean when it comes to drinking and stuff?
Yeah, backwash is a very simple word. I thought you guys were looking for a slang term for it. There's no slang to that. It's very simple. If you're taking a drink, when you take something in, obviously it's going to mix with your spit and your saliva. So when you pull your breath away, some of your saliva goes back in the cup.
Actually, yeah.
That's backwash. Same thing if you're using a straw, you sip it in, it mixes a little bit with your saliva. When you're done, a little bit of your saliva goes back down.
Yeah.
That's backwash.
And you probably don't want to end up drinking out of that. And you probably don't want to drink out of that glass.
It's mild. Yeah. Technically, you also have it when you're kissing. So if you're kissing someone, all that exchange of spit is backwash.
Yeah. Like
people
like
call
second base.
It's second base, right? Okay.
Okay, we're not going to get into that actually. دوستان اصطلاح دیگه که هست در واقع backwash هست. To backwash یا something is backwashed زمانی استفاده میشه که شما دارین با لیوان آب میخورین یا از یک حالا بطری دارین آب میخورین یا نی دارین استفاده میکنین و خب طبیعتاً your spit یا your saliva میمونه روی اون یعنی که برمیگرده داخل اون ظرفی که دارین ازش نوشیدنی میخورین و طرف میگه که hey would you like some drink میگه no man, I'll pass actually. I don't want your backwash. I don't want your backwash. یعنی نمیخوام دهنی تو رو بخورم. که میگن حالا برای بوست و اینجور چیزا هم هست که ما اصلا از این چیزا خبری نداریم. اصلا چی داریم میگیم مثلا. Okay, thank you very much. The next one is like a dating term. So I'm spoken for and I'm taken. So which one represents masculinity and which one actually represents femininity?
Technically neither, because in English you don't really have sexualized nouns. So we don't have masculine verbs and feminine verbs. Either could be used interchangeably. I'm taken, I'm spoken for is almost always used in terms of relationships and romantic relationships.
Yeah.
I'm taken could be a relationship, but it could be as simple as you're playing basketball and you're picking teams and you didn't notice that this person was already picked. You go to pick them, they'll go, no, I'm taken. It could be, I'm taken is usually referred with objects. People can be an object, but it may not necessarily be about relationships. I'm spoken for is almost exclusively used in terms of romantic relationships.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
Other than that, they're almost exactly interchangeable.
Interchangeable. دوستان دو تا اصطلاح داریم ما، یکی I'm taken و دیگری I'm spoken for. در مورد I'm spoken for صحبت بکنم که این اصطلاح فقط و فقط زمانی استفاده میشه که یک پسر از دختر خوشش میاد یا حالا برعکس و علاقه نشون میده به اون شخص جنس مخالف. اون شخص میگه که hey I'm spoken for، یعنی من متأهلم یا اینکه من نامزد دارم. گفتم هر معنی میتونه بده در این موقعیت که شما نمیخواین وارد یک رابطه دیگه بشین در واقع با کسی دیگه، پس میگین I'm sorry I'm spoken for، یعنی من در این رابطه دیگه هستم. از اون طرف I'm taken هم میتونین استفاده بکنین اگر در اون موقعیتی قرار بگیرین که یه نفر مثلا someone is trying to hit on you، یه نفر داره سعی میکنه که مخ شما رو بزنه یا با شما لاست بزنه، شما میتونید در واقع بگین که I'm taken. تو اون موقع I'm taken همچین معنی رو میده. ولی مثلا ایشون میگن که زمانی که بازی فوتبال هست یا چیزی، اگر مثلا میگن hey do you want to join with our team، بعد شما میگین no I'm taken، یعنی میخوای با تیم ما بیای، بعد شما میگه نه I'm taken، یعنی که من توی تیم دیگه هستم، یعنی تیم دیگه در واقع من رو گرفته. پس I'm taken و I'm spoken for بدون تفاوت‌هاشون کجا هست، ولی در حالت کلی میتونه you could use them interchangeably.
One more on that.
Yeah, sure.
So in addition to I'm spoken for is slightly more old-fashioned than I'm taken. Typically an older person or someone with a bit more education is more inclined to say I'm spoken for than I'm taken.
Okay. ایشون میگن که I'm spoken for در واقع اصطلاح قدیمی تری هست نسبت به I'm taken. پس اگه اصطلاح بروزتری میخواین I'm spoken for کسانی که حالا سنشون بالاتره و اصطلاح قدیمی هست. از اون طرف I'm taken خیلی اصطلاح بروزی و میتونین تو موقع استفاده بکنین. Another one is can I get some space? What does that mean?
It's actually very literal. You need space. Two typical ways that that's going to be used. Someone is physically too close to you, and for whatever reason, you need them to back off, give you space. It could be a casual situation where you're on a bus and someone is standing like right here and their butt's in your face. You're like, hey, can I get some space? Or it's a safety issue. You know, you're at work, there's machinery going on, and you're trying to work, you have some heavy machinery, someone is getting too close to you and it's dangerous. You may tell them, hey, back off, and can I get some space here? Because it's a physical situation. But at the same time, mentally or emotional, this may also be used in a relationship where you're upset, your partner may be trying to talk to you, but you're emotionally not ready to have a conversation. You need time by yourself. So you may tell them, I'm sorry, can I just get some space? I just need space. I need some time for myself. I need some space for myself. So you're not necessarily, they could still stay, but you just don't want them to, you don't want to talk right now. So it could be physical or emotional, but effectively you need people to get back away from you. You just need space.
Okay, great. دوستان اصطلاحی که ما داشتیم در واقع can I get some space یا can I have some space هست. وقتی که شما میگین can I get some space یا can I have some space، دو تا موقعیت مختلف داریم. یه موقعیت زمانیه که شرایط فیزیکیه، مثلا شما داخل اتوبوس هستین، یه نفر دقیقاً کنار شما وایساده و شما میگه excuse me can I get some space یا can I have some space، میشه یکم برین اونورتر، میشه از من یکم فاصله بگیرید، میشه نچسبید به من. همه اینا دوستان معنی میده. گفتم موقعیت رو در نظر بگیرید نه معنای لغت رو. کاربرد دیگه زمانی که قضیه احساسی هست، یعنی زمانی هستش که مثلا شما با دوست پسرتون یا با دوست دخترتون میخواید نزدیک بشین، میخواید صحبت بکنید، میخواید بیشتر در ارتباط باشین، ولی اون شخص آمادگی پذیرش شما رو در اون لحظه نداره. شما میتونید بمونید، نه که رابطه بعد کات بشه، ولی میگه I think I need some space. Can I get some space? Can I get some time and space? یعنی میشه یکم تو خودم باشم، یکم میشه تنهام بذاری. همه اینها در واقع معنی میده. پس can I have some space یا can I get some space در دو موقعیت فیزیکی و احساسی در واقع کاربرد دارد. Okay, there are times in America you bump into some random people on the street who actually come up with the phrase I ain't got no time or I ain't got time. Yeah, okay, but what does that basically mean? And in what situations or occasions actually we tend to use it more often?
Okay, so first I will say that I ain't got time and I ain't got no time mean exactly the same thing.
Yeah, double negative.
The main difference between, now, first off, ain't is considered a very uncouth, very uneducated way of speaking in English. So I'd rather you not even use the word ain't at all yourself, but you still need to know what it means if someone says it to you.
Yeah.
Typically, if someone's saying ain't to you in any matter, either they're a friend and they're being just very casual. This might be something like you and a friend who do not need to be very formal at all with each other might use ain't. Man, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't doing this. I ain't interested in this. I ain't. That's you being purposefully being very casual with someone who you're close to. Okay. Anybody else, it's really rude because in that you're marking yourself as someone who's highly uneducated.
Uneducated, yeah.
Okay. So try not to use ain't. And to say I ain't got no is it's a double negative in English. So it goes against the rules of the English language to say I ain't got no, because ain't, you've already said you don't have any, and now you're saying no again. So when someone says that, it's hard. You could cause a fight just by laughing at them because they're showing themselves to be extremely ignorant or extremely uneducated. So just the fact that they're saying I ain't got no, it's very ghetto. Yeah, it's very ghetto. But all they're really saying, all they're really saying is that whatever's going on, they're not down with it. They're not interested. They don't want a piece of it. It doesn't matter. And effectively, they're dismissing whatever you just said. You could have said the smartest thing on the planet. You could have said, hey, get out of the way. A bus is coming. It's going to hit you. And this idiot's going, I ain't got time for that. And then they get hit by the bus because they're just stupid. So typically someone saying, I ain't got time for that, or I ain't got no time for that, is just being ignorant. Sometimes on purpose. You may say it as a joke. But someone who's serious about it, just stay away from that person. Because that's typically a person who doesn't have enough to live for. They don't have enough going on in their life, and they can easily go to jail and take you with them. So just stay away from that person.
Kind of considered low life, right?
Very, very. I can't emphasize that enough. Very low life. Sometimes in a funny way, but stay away from those people.
Yeah, I get your point. دوستان اصطلاحی که هست I ain't got no time یا I ain't got time، الان داشت که ain't به معنی am not, is not, are not, was not, were not, do not, does not, did not هست و has not و have not. تقریبا میشه گفت برای همه کاربرد داره. و ایشون میگن که اگه کسی در آمریکا، شما اولا چه سعی کنید در زبان روزمره تو انگلیسی روزمره هرگز استفاده نکنید از I ain't got no time یا اصلا از اون کلمه ain't استفاده نکنید، چون دقیقاً نشون میده که شما یه شخص یا بی سوادین یا شخص مثلا یه لاقبایین یا شخصی هستین که از نظر رده اجتماعی خیلی خیلی پایین هستین. پس نباید از این اصطلاح استفاده بکنید، بلکه بگین همون am not, is not و حالا to be not هم. و میگن I ain't got no time یه جمله‌ای که در واقع خیلی افرادی که در واقع میگن it sounds really ghetto، یعنی خیلی خیلی قدیمیه و خیلی افرادی استفاده میکنن که میگم درجه پایینی از جامعه هستن. پس از ain't خیلی استفاده نکنید، اصلا استفاده نکنید، چون واقعا فرمال نیست و خیلی غیر رسمی و خیلی شخصیت خودتون رو پایین میارین. I ain't got no time double negative هست. از نظر گرامری درست نیستش که ما بخوایم بگیم I ain't یعنی I don't have no time، یا باید بگیم I don't have time یا بگیم I don't have any time. پس وقتی شما میگی I don't have no time یعنی دو تا در واقع منفی میاد، از نظر گرامری اشتباه است ولی در محاوره استفاده میشه. Okay, so the difference between to get to and can, because a lot of people actually mess up these two words with one another. Some of them actually have a hard time. They really don't know whether they need to use get to in that particular situation or they need to stick with can. So what is the exact difference between the two?
It's kind of hard to say because they really shouldn't have any relation to each other.
Yeah.
That might be a translation issue in that you're translating words from a different language and they have a different meaning.
Exactly.
In English, those two shouldn't be related. When you're saying to get to, you are trying to reach some place, some destination, some person, and you're not there yet. You're trying to get to this space, this thought, this person, this reason, this point in time.
Yeah.
You're on your way to this location or to this train of thought. It could be various things, but it's a very specific thing. As opposed to can is a little easier. For example, or later down in the list, you have a situation where you're explaining the difference between will and can. It's a little easier to explain what can means when you're connecting it to will than it is, because compared to get to, it has no correlation to it.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be used. They don't even have the same type of meaning at all. You know, can is, are you able to do something? And that really has nothing to you're on your way to something.
Yeah. Okay, great. دوستان یه سوالی که در واقع خیلی از من پرسیده میشه تفاوت can و get to هست که خیلی فکر میکنن در واقع معنی توانستنه. در فارسی از اونجا که گفتم همونطور که دیدین دریل میگه که اصلا ربطی به هم ندارن، ولی در فارسی ما اون رو توانستن یه جوری معنی میکنیم. یعنی چی؟ مثلا میگم red carpet هست، مراسم فرش قرمز هست، مثلا سلینا گومز رو شما میبینید روی گوشه‌ای، طرف میره با هزار یک بدبختی میتونه بره باش عکس بگیره، میگید guess what I got to talk to Selena Gomez. I got to talk to Selena Gomez. یعنی این توانایی نیستش که همیشه باشه، این فرصتیه که پیش میاد، شانسیه که شما میتونین داشته باشین، در واقع مجالیه که میتونین داشته باشین. پس با کن که توانایی رو شما رو نشون میده نباید معنی بکنین get to رو. مثلا شما میگین که you don't get to take the car out، یعنی فراموش بکن که ماشین رو بخوای ببری بیرون، یعنی که اجازه نداری یا نمیتونی ماشین رو ببری بیرون. پس وقتی میگی you don't get to take the car out یعنی این فرصت، این شانس برای تو فراهم نیست که بخوای ماشین رو ببری بیرون. که حالا خیلی‌ها میگن که این ممکنه معنی در واقع can یا توانستن رو بده، ولی خب can to be able to یا توانایی شما رو نشون میده که شما میتونید قادرین کاری انجام بدین. to get to که منفیش میشه don't get to یا doesn't get to، به معنی این هستش که اون فرصت یا اون شانس برای شما فراهم بشه که کاری رو انجام بدین. Hey Darryl, you're back.
Yes. Side point. So as you can see, I had taken my studio down. I'm putting it back together. I actually have a YouTube series, which some of you guys will probably funny, called Mad Puppet Skills. Look it up on YouTube. It's really funny. It's a comedy series, a little irreverent. It's not. It's although it involves puppets, not for children. But this is where we shoot a lot of it. But we had been down for a couple of months, and now we're putting it back together.
Okay, so you literally got your work coming out of your ear nowadays.
Yeah, there's a lot going on today.
Okay, another one is, I know it sounds really uneducated and sounds really like, so to speak, low life, but what does it mean, boo-boo? Because we hear it on a lot of movies. Boo-boo, what does it mean? Okay, boo-boo, show me what you got. Okay, boo-boo, look at me, boo-boo. Okay. What does it mean, boo-boo? So, B-O-O-B-O-O.
Boo-boo is a nickname.
Yeah.
It's usually used as a term of endearment, usually for babies or children or pets or a girlfriend or a lover. It's not, you typically wouldn't use it for a man unless you are a girl who is specifically having sex with or relationships with that man. If you guys are casual, he probably is not going to let you call him boo-boo. Like, if you guys have passed that threshold and you're in a more physical relationship, he may let you call him boo-boo. And even then, not necessarily in front of people. Grown men do not want to be called boo-boo.
Yeah, of course.
But a girl, on the other hand, it's cute. You can call a girl boo-boo. Now, because it's used as a term of endearment, particularly for like little kids or pets, it can be insulting a bit when you say it to an adult. And in particular, girls may use it versus each other. So when you see two girls get in an argument, and it doesn't matter, and it's a funny thing, because it's grown, it wouldn't necessarily, they don't have to be uneducated to use this. You can see two very high-class ladies all of a sudden go, look here, boo-boo, and just call each other boo-boo as an insult. But, you know, it can go either way. Typically, it'd be a term of endearment. You know, it's something you would say to be cute, or, you know, kawaii, if you're, you know, you're looking at your Japanese for it, you guys are studying your Japanese, or Korean. It's a positive thing most of the time, but depending on how you use it, it could be an insult. But even then, kind of a mild insult, something you're saying to be funny and insulting, rather than to be biting and insulting.
Yeah, okay. دوستان یه اصطلاحی که هست بوبو BOO و کاربردی که در واقع داره برای زمانی که شما مثلا میخواین یه حیوان خونگی رو خطاب بکنید، یا اینکه میخواین فرض دوست دخترتون رو خطاب بکنید، یا اینکه میخواین بچه‌ها رو خطاب بکنید، مثلا کوچولو، مثلا دریل دوست رو خیلی دوست داشت، میگن it's a term of endearment، یعنی برای ابراز علاقه در واقع نشون داده میشه، یعنی که مثلا میخواین بگی من خوشم میاد. ولی میگن از اون طرف برای یک معنی هم یک معنی دیگه که در واقع داره، زمانی که شما میخواین به یک بزرگسال این حرفو میزنین و یک mild insult، یعنی یک توهین یا نه خیلی شدید محسوب میشه، یعنی میخواین اون شخص رو در واقع شخصیتش یه جوری بیارین پایین. حالا high maintenance ladies، خانمایی که حالا کلاس بالا هم اصلا ممکنه از در واقع استفاده بکنن از این. پس اینو توی فیلم‌ها بعضی جا میشنوین، یعنی من خودم شخصا خیلی شنیدم این رو. و توی یوتیوب، ویدیوهای یوتیوب اگه نگاه بکنید، مثلا داخل مترو دعوا میشه، دو تا خانم دارن با هم دعوا میکنن، دو تا سیاه‌پوست دارن دعوا میکنن، کلا سفیدپوست فرق نمیکنه و میگن اوکی بوبو، look at me بوبو، come here بوبو، bring it on بوبو. و از این اصطلاحات استفاده میشه که انسالت یا توهین هست. All right, another one is can it wait. What does it mean? Can it wait?
That's very literal. Can whatever it's typically used in a time when someone is trying to get your attention in some way, but you don't have time. But you ain't got no time.
I ain't got no time for that.
I ain't got time for that.
Anybody gets time for that.
A more polite and actually educated way to say I ain't got time for that is, can it wait? You may need to use this in a situation where you're trying to be calm, you're trying to keep people calm, you're trying not to insult anyone. Though it is still short. It's still a very short way to say it. You're being very abrupt with it. So if you say it with the wrong tone or inflection, you could upset someone, especially if you're in a service situation. Let's say you're working. If you're working, you wouldn't say this to someone who is paid. Who is paid. Let's say you're a waiter. You're working in a restaurant, and someone is trying to get your attention. You wouldn't say, "Look, can it wait?" You wouldn't say this to that person because it's very informal and it's a little rude. Now, if you're in a superior situation, you can go ahead and say it. But if you're the inferior person in a situation, you wouldn't use this. You may say, "Can I have a moment?" or "Please, can I have some time?" But to say, "Can it wait?" to someone who is superior to you could get you in trouble. It's not like, you're not going to get arrested or anything. You're not going to cause a fight.
It's not disapproving.
But it's very rude.
Yeah.
But if you are in a superior situation or an even situation, if you're currently in charge of the situation, and someone is trying to get your attention, but you don't have time, you might ask them, "Look, can it wait? Can whatever this is hold for just 3 more seconds? Give me 30 seconds. I need some space. Can I have some space right now?"
Yeah.
These are all phrases that can be used together.
Yeah. Okay, great. اصطلاح دیگه که دوستان هست can it wait هست. Can it wait که تلفظ میشه can it wait. can it wait. دو تا کاربرد داره، دو تا موقعیت براش در نظر میگیریم. موقعیت اول زمانی که یک شخص در واقع پیش شما میاد و این بسته به لحن شماست، the tone of your voice. که شما مثلا این که شما نمیخواد تو اون لحظه کسی مزاحم شما بشه، شما دارین کار میکنین و یکم هم شاید پریشون باشین، عصبی باشین، خیلی استرس روی شماست، کار زیادی دارین، یه نفر میاد و میخواد به شما مثلا یه عکس نشون بده یا حالا ویدیو اینستاگرام نشون بده و شما میگه can you wait. این لحن گفتن can it wait یه لحنی که اون طرف بهش برمیخوره. تو فارسی مثلا میتونی بگی 2 دقیقه صبر میکنی یا 2 دقیقه میذاری ببینم دارم چیکار میکنم. پس اگر با لحنتون بگین can it wait این به این معنی که خب این در واقع میشه گفتش که بیادبی محسوب میشه. حالا بیادبی خیلی توهین آمیز در واقع محسوب میشه. ولی خیلی با لحن دوستانه بگین که مثلا بگین که it's okay but can it wait. با لحن درست بگید به این معنیه که خب میشه 2 ثانیه چند لحظه صبر بکنی من کارم انجام بدم و بعد بیام. که حالا معادلش مثلا میشه can I have some space, can I have some time here, can I have a little moment here. پس can it wait رو زیاد میشنوین با توجه به لحن شما. 2 تا لحنتون معنیش عوض میتونه بشه. Okay. Yeah, when you were shopping and when actually you would like to check out your purchases, some people might hear the cashier or the sales clerk saying, let me ring you up, or would you please, or can you ring me up, please? What does that mean, to ring someone up?
Gotcha. These are, there's 2 meanings to this.
Yeah.
Both deal with the actual machinery that we're dealing with. Old cash registers, when you were opening the cash register in a store, it used to make a ringing sound. It would literally go ring, ring, to indicate that you're going to open the drawer. And so when you were checking out, this is a very old term.
Yeah.
This is something from like the 1800s, the early 1900s, when cash registers were a thing. You might say, hey, can you ring me up, please? You're just asking them to go ahead and use the machine, which used to make a ring, ring, ringing sound, to go ahead and process your purchase. At the same time, you can also use the term when you want to ask someone to call you on the telephone. Because once again, old telephones used to make a ring, ring, ringing sound. And so to ring someone up would be, hey, can you call me? And that term is perfectly fine in either situation. Most people in America should understand what you mean, and you can use it in either way. But they're just an old way of saying, hey, can you either process my purchase or can you call me on the phone?
اوکی. دوستان این اصطلاحی که داخل فیلم‌های قدیمی مثلا دهه 80 به بعد زیاد می‌بینید، خیلی خیلی زیاد ممکنه اینو بشنوین. Please ring me up هست یا would you please ring me up. یکی از معانیش خب میشه به من تلفن بزنید. یعنی مثلا میگه I can ring you up که معنی کاملا بروزی داره. به معنی تلفن زدن. معنی دیگه زمانی که از اونجایی که خب دستگاهی در واقع کشیر، دستگاهی که در واقع شما می‌خواستین خرید رو انجام بدین و پول رو به خریدار بدین، صدای رنگ میداد که بخواد اون کشو رو باز بکنیم و پولا رو در بیاریم و حالا تحویل بدین، خوردش رو تحویل بدین. این از اصطلاح از اونجا میاد که این خیلی اصطلاحی هستش که در واقع اون زمان استفاده میشد. توی فیلم قدیمی خیلی زیاد میشنوین و به این معنیه که میشه لطفاً وسایلی که من خریدم، چیزایی که خریدم رو حساب بکنید یا میشه اینها رو حساب بکنید که اصطلاح بروزش. پس اصطلاح قدیمیش میشه would you ring me up please یا can you ring me up please. اگه اصطلاح مدرنش رو بخواید میشه can you process my purchase, can you process my purchase یا مثلا این که can you check these out please یا can I check these out. از این اصطلاح میتونید استفاده بکنید زمانی که شما خریدتون رو میخواین تحویل بدید، پول بدین و از فروشگاه بیرون ببرید. Okay. So there is a difference between I thought I would and I wanted to. I wanted to and I thought I would. So can we clarify this a little bit for those who actually kind of get them confused? So I thought I would. In what context do we use it? And I wanted them.
So I thought I would versus I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I thought I would indicate something that you were supposed to do and had some intention to do, but you didn't do it. And someone is calling you out on it. Someone is asking you about the situation. Like they may be saying, hey, didn't you want a blue car? I thought I would, but now that I've seen it, I don't think I want that anymore. And you can expand that to anything. It's that simple. You had some indication that or somebody believed that you liked something or that you were inclined to do something based on their understanding of who you are. You may have wanted that, but you had changed your mind on that situation. So you may say, I thought I would like that. I thought that I would vote that way. I thought that this was my opinion on this, but now that I've thought more on it, now that I've become more educated, now that I've been exposed to something new, my thinking has changed. I thought I would do that is typically followed by but I've decided to do this instead. And what was the second one?
I wanted to. I wanted to.
I wanted to. Similar. It's a very similar thought. I thought I would have. I wanted to do that. This is something I wanted. You can even combine them. I thought that I wanted that, but I don't. It turns out I do not. It's typically an opening to a phrase. They're similar. You can use them in similar situations. I thought I wanted this. This is something I want. This is something I want. This is something I wanted. Past tense is I think there's the important aspect. Wanted is past tense. You used to want this. You don't anymore. I think there's your clarifier. Wanted is past tense. You no longer want that thing.
Yeah, okay. دوستان ببینید I thought I would زمانی دو تا کاربرد داره در واقع. زمانی استفاده میشه که شما بخواید در مربوط به زمان گذشته بخواید رجوع بدین و مثلا میخواید بگین که would you do this for me? Would you loan me $100? بعد شما میگین که خب فکر کنم این کارو میکردم. I thought I would. شاید این کارو میکردم. یعنی پس وقتی میگه I thought اینجا thought دقت بکنید اگه بخواید مدل فارسیشو بگین فکر کردن نه. مثلا میتونید بگین گفتم. مثلا گفتم این کارو میکنم یا گفتم شاید این کار انجام بشه. I thought I would. ولی وقتی میگین I wanted to یا در واقع I thought I would میتونیم بگیم یکی از کاربرد دیگه زمانی که میخواین دلیل انجام کارتون رو میخواین بگیم. مثلا میگه گفتم یه زنگ بزنم حالی بپرسم ازت. مثلا I thought I would call to see how you're doing. پس دلیل کارتون رو میتونیم بگین I thought I would. I wanted to Darryl, can we see that I thought I would is kind of synonymous with I was gonna, but because neither of them actually happened. I was gonna, but, or I thought I would. But.
You have to think of them in very literal terms. In that thought is the past tense of think, whereas wanted is the past tense of want. You have a desire is you have a want. Wanted, you used to have a desire. As opposed to thought, this is something you no longer think. Like your opinion on this has changed. You think this now. Will you think this in the future? I thought I would. It's more action versus desire, or thought versus desire.
Yeah. I thought I would میگن که در واقع دوستان زمانی استفاده میتونیم بکنید که بخواید اشاره بکنید به یه چیزی که حالا شاید انجام میشد یا شاید انجام بشه. ولی وقتی میگه I wanted to یعنی که من تمایل داشتم این کار انجام یا میخواستم این کار رو بکنم. مثلا میگه که I wanted to ask you a few questions. یعنی میخواستم چند تا سوال ازتون بپرسم. پس I thought I would زمانی که دلیل کاری رو میخوام بگم این چیزی که در واقع فرضی میخوایم بگیم I thought I would do that شاید این کارو بکنم یا شاید این کار انجام میشد. و وقتی میگن I wanted to یا I wanted it زمانی که بخواید you want to show your desire بخواید علاقتون رو نشون بدین که این کارو میخواستین انجام بدین. The next one is I could have sworn. I could have sworn.
I could have sworn. And if we can too, at some point, will you versus can you is probably one of the most important ones on your list here.
Yeah, it's okay. I think I kind of skipped that, right? Did I skip that?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
It was right after please ring me up.
Yeah, actually, yeah. It was kind of cutting off on my screen, so.
Gotcha. Which one did you want to do now?
Will you and can you?
Yeah, will you and can you? These two are extremely important because they're very common, and you'll use them in everyday conversations most days of the week. The important aspects of this is intention versus capability. So if you ask someone, will you do this? You're asking them to give you an answer of specifically, will you do this? As opposed to, can you do this? If you're asking someone, can they do it? You're literally asking them, do they have the capability to do it? You're not actually asking them if they will actually do the thing. You're asking them, do you have the ability to do this thing? But in common parlance, we'll say, hey, can you do this for me? And if they say yes, we're expecting them to do the thing. Where this comes up often, though, is that people can be a little tricky about answering that question. If you ask them, hey, can you do this for me? And they say, yeah, I can. They're not necessarily committing to doing it for you. They're simply agreeing that they have the capability of doing it for you. But they didn't specifically say that they would. Now, if you say, hey, can you do this for me? And they go, yeah, I can do that for you. Yeah, sure thing. Now, they have given you, they're indicating that they actually will do the thing, compared to, will you do this for me? And they say, yes. Flat out, they've now agreed to do that thing for you. As opposed to, if you say, hey, will you do this for me? And they say, no. They flat out told you, no, I will not do that.
No.
And it's very important because people use it both ways in everyday conversation and every walk of life. And it causes a lot of disagreements, especially in households. Usually children and parents, that it's very common because children don't necessarily always understand the difference between will and can. And so you may ask a child, hey, can you do this for me? Now you intend for them to, or they might ask you, hey, can I go outside? You're like, well, you can. You're not telling them they can. You know, you may, but typically you wouldn't, if it's a small child, you wouldn't answer it that way because it's confusing to a small child. But maybe a teenager, you could answer that way because you're trying to make them think more. Is it? You got that?
Yeah. Okay. So we could also actually say that, for example, will you loan me your bike? And I would probably say, can I? Yes. Will I? No. Right?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right. دوستان ببینید چیزی که خیلی مهمه تفاوت will you و can you هست. وقتی که شما میگین will you تو فارسی میتونین بگین میشه. مثلا شما میگین میشه این کار برای من انجام بدی. Will you help me clean up the room? میشه کمکم کنی. وقتی شما میگین can you help me clean up the room؟ یعنی که این توانایی رو داری. You are specifically referring to that person's ability. شما دارید دقیقاً اشاره میکنید به اون توانایی اون شخص. مثلا میگین که can I go outside؟ میگه yeah of course you can. میتونم برم بیرون. خب معلومه که میتونی بری بیرون. ولی وقتی حالت اجازه بخوایم بگیریم، مثلا این که will you help me move this box out of the house؟ میشه کمکم کنی این باکس رو مثلا این جبل ببرم بیرون؟ این دارین شما یک در واقع درخواست مؤدبانه میکنین، دارین درخواست تقاضا میکنین که توی فارسی ما میگیم میشه. پس میتونی بری بیرون، میشه بری بیرون، فرق میکنه با هم دیگه. will you not talk about it؟ will you not talk about it؟ میشه درباره این صحبت نکنیم؟ پس وقتی که شما در واقع میگید will you و can you، تفاوت در این هستش که will you اجازه رو میخواین در واقع بگین و تقاضاتون رو بگین، میشه رو میخواید بگید، ولی وقتی میگین can you توانی رو در واقع دارین بهش اشاره میکنین که خیلی خیلی فرق مهمیه. و ایشون میگن بچه‌ها در آمریکا شاید تو سنای پایین در واقع تفاوت این دو تا عبارت رو با هم دیگه ندونن، در نتیجه خب they mess it up. Okay. The next one is there any, all right, so when it comes to present perfect versus simple past, there's a lot of controversy as far as these two terms and these two kind of phrases. So would you please enlighten us on that one? Would you please tell us what it is all about? What the difference is between these two, present perfect or simple past? Does that really make a huge difference if I sound like, in the right context, if I sound like the simple present, could it hurt the conversation if I do not use actually past present perfect? So which one actually sounds more natural?
Try it in context. It'd be a better example.
Okay, for example, I didn't watch the. For example, I've already left the office. I have already left the office, or I already left the office. The difference here.
It usually doesn't make much difference because if people will infer the rest of the words. It's kind of like when we went back to the I ain't got time for that versus I ain't got no time for that. Assuming that was proper English, you don't have to say the no because people assume the no was in there. Same thing here. I've left the office versus I've already left the office. People assume the already part. You don't necessarily have to say it.
So technically, it doesn't make much of a difference, does it?
No, it really doesn't. And no one, I don't think no one would bat an eye if you said it either way, because it's not an important difference to most people, and it doesn't change the meaning of the sentence at all. In that particular case, now there could be situations where you need to be very specific, but it's usually very, very evident or very clear when you need to be.
Okay, for instance, if I want to say that I've been living in Vegas for 10 years now versus I'm living in Vegas for 10 years now, so does that make a difference as well?
No,
or
in fact,
it sounds perfectly fine?
To me, those are exactly the same. I think the only difference was the contraction at the beginning. You know, I've been living in Vegas for 10 years, or I'm living in Vegas for 10 years. They're exactly the same. And really there's no difference to us at all. In fact, you don't even have to really worry about that. In fact, most Americans probably aren't educated enough to know the difference between the two phrases anyway. That's just, the education system's not that good to where now if you're in if you're in Britain, on the other hand,
of course,
they're a bit more peculiar about the language. They're very more particular, as well as our Canadians, but Australians and Americans, they're not going to care.
All right, great. دوستان یه تفاوت مهمی که بین گذشته ساده و حال کاملی همون ماضی نقلی هست اینه که خب خیلی ها میگن که مثلا I've been living in Vegas for 10 years, I've lived in Iran for 10 years, I've been living in Iran for 10 years, I'm living in Iran for 10 years. از نظر آمریکایی و از نظر استرالیایی کاملا اوکیه که شما مثلا این دوتا رو جای هم استفاده بکنید. یعنی گذشته ساده و حال کامل و اینکه حال در واقع ساده استمراری و بذاریم مثال براتون بزنیم، مثلا حال کامل استمراری و زمان حال ساده استمراری. این که من بگم I've been living in Iran for 10 years versus I'm living in Iran for 10 years از نظر آمریکایی و استرالیایی خیلی فرقی نمیکنه. انگلیسی ها بیشتر در واقع این تفاوت واسه شما، چون که انگلیسی خیلی شسته رفته تر و از نظر گرامری قاعده مندتری رو صحبت میکنن. پس این حواستون باشه که در فیلم ها شما خیلی وقتا میبینید که طرف اینجا مثلا میگین که خب این داره اشاره میکنه به اتفاقی که قبلا افتاده. مثلا میگه که I didn't try that before. I didn't try that. میگیم خب اینجا باید بگه I haven't tried that before. چرا داره میگه I didn't try that؟ بدونی که در آمریکا و در استرالیا این فرق هستش که این تشابه در واقع وجود داره که این دو تا زمان رو خیلی روش وسواس به خرج نمیدن. برخلاف انگلیسی که خیلی انگلیسی قاعده مندتری رو در واقع صحبت میکنه. این سوالی بود که خیلی خیلی از من پرسیده میشد که من بگم I've been living in Iran for 2 years یا I'm living in Iran for 2 years فرق خاصی از نظر آمریکایی ها نمیکنه. Okay, the next one is I have a bunch of running around to do. So can you break down the term run around? To give someone a run around, or I have a lot of running around to do, what does that basically mean?
Running around is a simple slang catchphrase for you have a lot of things to do, or you're going to be doing a lot of things, or you're just going to be moving about all day. You're not necessarily going to accomplish anything, but you're going to do a lot of running around. In other words, you're going to be very busy. Whether you accomplish anything or not, that's a whole different thing. But it's more of a phrase that simply means that you have a lot to do, or you're going to be doing a lot. You're going to be very busy, as opposed to you have nothing to do today, or whatever you're going to do is very simple. It also notes that whatever is about to happen, your day may be complicated. At the same time, it usually indicates that whatever you're doing may not necessarily be that important. Because running around is not something we would use with, it's not a phrase we necessarily use for something that's highly important. It's the type of thing that you give someone, an underling, some busy work. He's got me running around all day. Is to indicate that whatever you're doing is kind of a waste of time. Even though you need to do it, it probably needs to be done. But there's probably better ways for you to spend your time. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. دوستان یه اصطلاحی که ما داریم to give to have a lot of running around, to have a lot of running around to do یا to have a lot of running around که در واقع معناش میشه زمانی که شما خیلی کار دارین. مثلا میگم چند جا باید برید بیرون، دوستتون به شما میگه که خب امروز بیا مثلا صبح با هم بریم اون کار منو راه بندازیم، من مثلا کاری دارم انجام بدم. شما میگی نه امروز خیلی کار دارم. این که ما میگیم خیلی کار دارم، این که خیلی چند جا باید برم، یه چند نفر رو باید ببینم، چند تا جلسه دارم، وقتی در حالت کلی دارین اشاره میکنین به اینکه سرتون خیلی شلوغه، میتونید بگین I have a lot of running around to do. I have a lot of running around to do. یا یه اصطلاح دیگه هم داریم که مثلا میگن که I got a lot. Yeah, I have a lot on my plate. I have a lot on my plate. Yeah, I got a lot on my plate. همون بشقاب یعنی که سرم خیلی شلوغه. پس to have a lot of running around to do یعنی خیلی کار دارم، کلی کار باید انجام بدم امروز. Man, I'm sorry I can't make it to the party tonight as I have a lot of running around to do. نمیتونم بیام مهمونی، خیلی کار دارم، یه سرم خیلی شلوغه. To give someone a run around as opposed to have a lot of running around to do, what does that mean, to give someone a run around?
Once again, it goes back to the point that you've given them something to go do to keep them busy and keep them away. That thing that you're having them do, once again, not important. You're just keeping them busy. Like, this would be something, a simple way to do it. Let's say you're planning a surprise party for your friend.
Yeah.
You need to keep them busy all day. So you may give them a bunch of chores, a bunch of tasks to give them, you're giving them the runaround. You want them to run around in circles around town to keep them busy and keep them out of your hair. You don't want to hurt them. You just want them away from you so that you can plan the party for them and surprise them. At the same time, someone to be told to be giving the runaround, let's say it's a service thing. For example, there's something wrong with your phone. You call tech support and explain to them, hey, something's wrong with my device. Can you help me? They give you what we call the runaround. They tell you, well, you know, if you just turn your phone off, turn it back on, reset it back to factory defaults, stand on your head when you do it, maybe if you hold it up like this and put it in a bag of rice, and then when you're done, call us and I'm sure it'll be working. They just gave you the runaround. They gave you a bunch of tasks. Some of them may not necessarily have anything to do with what's going on. And then they put you off to go until they're just trying to get rid of you for a while so that they don't have to deal with you.
Okay, thanks. دوستان یه اصطلاح دیگه که هست to give someone the runaround. To give someone the runaround. زمانی استفاده میشه. بذار من فارسیشو بگم. شما وارد یه اداره میشین. خب توی ایران هم که همیشه این اصلا it's pretty common. It's pretty textbook. وارد یه اداره میشین شما. طرف کار شما رو راه نمیندازه. بگین که I wanted to sign up for this course but the guy would give me the runaround. خواستم ثبت نام کنم این دوره ولی یارو هی منو به سر میگردوند. هی منو میپیچوند. هی الکی میگفت برو امروز فردا. پس این موقعیت زمانی که کسی نمیخواد کار شما رو راه بندازه میگیم to give someone the runaround. اصلا کار آدمو راه نمیندازه. مثلا میگه in Iran مثلا نمیدونم our city officials always gives you the runaround. یعنی این مثلا مسئولین شهری ما همیشه تو رو it's pretty common there too, right? خیلی از مسئولین شهری در واقع شما رو همینجوری مثلا نماینده مجلس طرفی هر چیزی هست کار شما رو راه نمیندازن میپیچونن قضیه رو به میگن to give someone the runaround. Okay, Darryl, actually there's a lot more to cover but apparently that's probably all the time we have for tonight. That was an amazing call, same as always with you over there. And I'm doggone sure that our audience actually it was a blast for him too. just as much as it was for me. So thank you very much. It was really awesome. It was really great having you. Hopefully we'll be able to actually contact a lot more later on. Thank you very much.